Hey guys, Miles here with XDA TV, and I've had the OnePlus 5 for about 5 days now, so here are my overall impressions of the phone after using it for that long. So the OnePlus 5 isn't that big of an overhaul all around. Besides the tweaked design, the phone feels extremely familiar to the OnePlus 3T because of Oxygen OS and the design of the front of the phone. I've more or less gotten over the whole looks like a 7 Plus thing about the phone, and I've come to enjoy the improvements made with the design. I like the fact that it's thinner and lighter and all the new curves and edges, although I still wouldn't use this phone without a case or at least a skin, and luckily OnePlus has some pretty nice first party options for protection. Overall, OnePlus played it very safe this time around, with the way they designed the back of the phone and not going after a thin bezel design, very much sticking in an area of comfort here. One thing I can say I appreciate about this phone is that everything is noticeably faster, especially the fingerprint sensor. I unfortunately don't have a 3T to compare, but I definitely notice an improvement in speed, and you literally have to make the slightest bit of physical contact with the sensor for it to unlock. And of course, I wish it was more accurate, but the speed kind of makes up for that. Just like the OnePlus 3T, this phone is an absolute performance monster. 8 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon 835 give you stellar performance with this phone, as it definitely should. All the everyday social media and productivity applications run flawlessly on this phone, as well as games. The one thing that's guaranteed with this phone is excellent performance. Just like with the OnePlus 3T, this phone ships with a gorgeous 1080p AMOLED display, and just like with the previous OnePlus devices, it doesn't bother me at all that the panel isn't Quad HD or whatever. 1080p looks perfectly sharp on this phone, and since this is an AMOLED panel, you get those super deep blacks, which is really good for the phone's battery life as a whole. And this is kind of extra, but I just want to say that the Cornerfly app works extremely well with this phone. Because of the AMOLED display, the cutoff corners of the display blend right in with the bezels of the phone. It's just perfect. Even though the OnePlus 5 has a slightly smaller battery than the 3T, the battery life for the most part seems like it's been improved. With constant usage, I get battery performance that pretty much lasts me all day. Using apps like Hangouts, Snapchat, Twitter, and YouTube all day, I get around 13 to 16 hours of battery life on average, which is pretty good, but I'll have to see how the battery holds up over time. Here on the OnePlus 5, we have the latest version of Oxygen OS on top of the latest version of Android. It's the same Oxygen OS we all know and love, super clean, and comes with a few new handy features, like being able to assign different actions to each gesture on the display. Oxygen OS has always been my favorite variant of Android other than stock Android itself, and if you're someone who feels the same, then you should have no issues with the software this time around. Now, the most controversial aspect of this phone has been the camera, which is also OnePlus's main selling point of the phone. And right off the bat, I'm just going to say that this isn't the best smartphone camera. I'd say it's probably up there in the top 5, but definitely no better than the Pixel, Galaxy S8, or iPhone 7 Plus. I actually like that they went with a telephoto lens instead of a wide angle lens. Being able to get closer while losing little to no quality is pretty useful to me, but the execution was definitely not done better than the iPhone 7 Plus, and the same thing goes for portrait mode. OnePlus really needs to readdress this and put out some software updates because I'm really not impressed with the camera so far at all. So this will probably be my new daily driver for the next few months, at least until the Essential Phone or Note 8 comes out, but I'm pretty disappointed that OnePlus couldn't really deliver on their promises basically, and I think they would have fared much better off if they had some other nice features to make up for the failings of the camera. But hey, you live and you learn, right? So that's going to be about it for this video. Make sure to stay subscribed for future content like this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.